Next tonight, the parents of British children who've been told to ask for permission to keep living here after Brexit. From today, EU nationals can apply for what is known as settled status.
Well, a controversial £65 charge was scrapped this afternoon. East Midlands hospitals were so worried about staff shortages, they'd already agreed to cover the cost for well over 1,000 workers. Our social affairs correspondent, Jeremy Ball, reports.
At this family dinner table in Nottinghamshire, they speak 3 different languages.
German, we forgot.
The twins and their sister are British citizens, born and bred here.
Hat euch die Mama abgeholt von der Schule?
Their dad, Dennis, grew up in Germany and kept his German nationality. And their mum, Iliana's still Greek. Iliana's an intensive care doctor who's about to start a 12-hour night shift at the Queen's Medical Centre, one of almost 700 EU workers there who now need to apply to settle in Britain, the country that's been her home for more than 20 years.
I have been quite upset about it, and in fact, I have refused to apply for settled status so far. Almost on principle, we feel that this is our home, we've both got jobs that we feel contribute positively to society, and it was a real kick in the teeth for us.
Dennis is a neuroscientist at the University of Nottingham. He has decided to apply for settled status, but he's already worried about travelling back to Britain when they visit his family in Germany this Easter.
Our children have a British passport because they were born here. Which line do we queue up in at the airport, right? Nobody knows what's going to happen, whether the immigration is going to change.
The government will waive the application fee.
This afternoon, the Prime Minister scrapped a controversial £65 charge, but foreign EU nationals will still need to apply for settled status. The Derby and Burton Hospitals Trust says Brexit has already prompted 3 of its doctors to leave. Iliana's considered moving too.
I don't want to have to ask to live here when I've been living here for 20-odd years, and I feel that this is my home now. It's insulting to have to ask somebody to be allowed to stay.
The government's advice to EU nationals here says it wants them to stay. They're our friends, our neighbours, our colleagues, it says. And for these British children, their mum and dad too.
Well, Jeremy, the government might have scrapped the fee, but what are they doing to reassure people about this process?
Well, they say this settlement process is all about protecting people after freedom of movement ends. The application's very simple. They say you just need to show you've lived here for 5 years, that you don't have a serious criminal record. If you're an Irish national, you don't need to apply at all. The problem is there's so much uncertainty still around Brexit, of course. People aren't just worried about that £65 fee. They're also worried that the Home Office is going to be flooded with these applications, and particularly after the Windrush scandal, people are worried that if they don't get these documents, they could eventually be deported.
Briefly, there's been something of a disturbing development in Nottingham today.
Yeah, there has. The East Midlands Polish newspaper has been in touch with me to say they've received some pretty nasty hate mail through the post today. Now, that includes an obscene message saying that Brexit means migrants should leave the country. Now, that, of course, is not what the government's saying, but this has been very upsetting for them, and they say they're going to now report this to Nottinghamshire Police as a hate crime.
Yeah, not surprised. All right, thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you.